Because the truth is that life, as we know it, is the yin and yang, the combination of feminine and masculine energies. This is a creative principle that is inseparable. It is truly one. So when we really go and peel back the layers, there is no separation between masculine. Like, you can't separate them. And so, yeah, this is a world built on men seeking to remember union with the feminine, seeking to remember that they're one with the feminine, while being conditioned to believe that it is something outside of them, which reflects their relationship with their inner feminine. So unconsciously, right, men are conditioned from a young age to neglect their own feminine and to abuse their own feminine and to like dominate it. And in that lack of loving relation that is projected externally, and so I think as spiritual people, what we discover in those realms of daydreaming and in those realms of like flowing and whatever the fuck we're doing when we're not doing homework or what society wants us to do in our jobs, and we're like kind of zooming out into realms of being that go deeper than mental structure. What happens there is we discover a ground of being that you could call feminine, or like the mother. It's like there's like a womb, right? It's like and this goes into the whole conversation of how the feminine principle of spirit has been suppressed. The knowledge of that has been suppressed in this whole society built on the idea that God is a man or a father or a male. So, so for me, it's understanding that we are all on a journey to balance and harmonize those energies within us, and it's a constant dance. And the more you go into your feminine, the more strong the masculine gets. And that's actually the whole like trick, the whole surprise is like men fear that by going into their feminine that they will lose their masculinity. And that happened, and like I said, that happened on my journey. It's like I went into my feminine and I lost touch with my masculinity and realized like, whoa, I've been suppressing my masculinity because of guilt and shame about how I've seen men use their masculinity in unconscious, unintegrated ways. But actually, the deeper I went into my feminine, as I began to reclaim my masculine, I found like I've become more and more and more masculine and more permission to be more masculine, and they strengthen and they complete each other, right? Like it's, you can just think of it as the idea of like in the heterosexual cultural normative perspective, it's like a good woman makes a fucking good man. And like want a woman to be happy, you give her like a good fucking man. You know, it's all this romanticization in this symbol of like partnership. But that's true for us as men that I've uncovered, is the deeper I've gone into my being without the idea of what a man is and what I need to do to be a man, the deeper I've gone into my being, the more I've come out as a sovereign fucking man. And this is, and it doesn't, not even man just doesn't feel authentic to say. So I caught myself there. But as a sovereign masculine, the more I've gone into my feminine, and this is the purpose of masculinity, I think, on a higher level, rather than, because it's actually, we think it's a masculine thing to do what society wants us to do, and to like fucking warrior up and adhere to the system. But the purpose of masculinity, the strength of masculinity, the balls, is like, do you have the sovereignty and the audacity to say fuck no to what other people are telling you about what it means to be a man or what it means to be a functioning human, and just to like honor and really love your feminine and like really any idea of who you are and dissolve into the place of being, which is what we're all seeking and craving when we want to go inside a woman. We're seeking to lose ourselves in the feminine, to come back to the place we came from from the womb of our mothers, right? Where
Mm.
all just like, so can we allow our ego identities of masculinity as it's been sold to us as some like rigged thing? Can we allow that to dissolve in the ground of feminine being, which the earth is made of and all of creation is made of, like a big sea or womb of energy? And then from that place, when we rest in that place and in that timeless beingness and are nourished by that love and knowing that every part of us is loved and we don't have to do anything or have any amount of money or turn in our home consignment on time, none of that matters. We're unconditionally fucking loved. When we have that ground of being, we become, our masculine energy naturally rises to the surface in like authentic sovereignty and authority and agency, and shows the fuck up for that deeper purpose that's awakened. And it's like, but the purpose is love, and finally we're awake to the fact that the purpose of our power is not to fight something, because the fighting of anything is actually trying to find love and connection with what a little wounded boy within us thinks is we're never going to get, which is the love of the feminine. So there's an insecure, wounded boy that's seeking the love of the feminine behind every macho performance.
Mm.
So when we remember that love is actually all the warrior cares about, like behind every warrior is a lover, then this love fucking us to become whole and really fucking powerful, because we're not projecting that we'll find our wholeness outside. And so it's like the integration of all these archetypes, right, of sovereign and warrior and lover, and there's that whole conversation. But we show up in masculinity and in our work and in life, but we're nourished from the wellspring of our source, and we show up in a purpose and a passion. So the only thing that I can do, the only thing that nourishes my service in the world and my showing the fuck up, like I can't do it for anyone's reason of why I should do it. I can't do it for any story other than this like deep taste of love, and then this deep love that animates my body through this male body, the specific energetics and alchemy of what that entails, in how masculinity expresses through this body with the help of my sexual organs and hormones and all that. It calls me into a deeper, so I'm constantly being called into deeper and deeper masculinity to meet the deeper and deeper femininity that I'm touching. And I'm constantly being called to show the fuck up for more of my life and for more of loving life and more of loving myself, and discovering deeper and deeper layers of no bullshit masculinity that are needed in order to show up for love. And there's so many layers of bullshit that just need to be sliced through, that are keeping us stagnant and stuck. And it can become like, we can become kind of dissociated at some points as creatives or spiritual people or feminine beings. There can be like a tendency to get floaty. But once that love or that inspiration is found, I think the masculine comes in when we really, like, nothing is really sustainable in the pursuit of manifesting that higher vision and deeper being in the world. Nothing is sustainable source of motivation for that besides the acknowledgement of like the taste of love and connection to all life. And then the masculine comes in and he's like, okay, what the fuck do I need to do to honor that? Like, and what do I need to do to create a new world? Because really there's like the true masculine is here to create a new world, to birth a new world, to show up for love, for the earth, for humanity. And it has to start with oneself, and it has to start with access to this ground of feminine beingness, which reminds us that as much as there's always the like deeper to get into the masculine, there's always the mercy of the mother energy holding us through all of it. and there's nowhere to get to, and it's like the true sustainability of the masculine purpose is not to get somewhere, but it's for the very act of uh, of love, the very knowing that wherever we are in our showing up for the world, it's not to get anywhere, but it's knowing that where we are, it's love. We're in a love making with the feminine in that
Mm,
process,
mm,
and so it doesn't matter how it's done. All that matters is that we're showing up authentically for it, and that we also get to give ourselves breaks and constantly die to the feminine and to the rest and to all these other principles in order to actually receive deeper than we ever have been taught we can receive, and grieve deeper than we ever thought we could grieve, so we can become emptier and emptier and be moved by something even more sincere, and to create a world that reflects that inner connection.